Hola, bom dia, Carmen's here. You can see there, hola, bom dia, tudo bem. How are you today? It will be really great to know who you are and where you are, because we are extending our Good Morning Portugal live stream YouTube channel and podcast community hug to those of Expats Portugal as well. So it's Meet-up Mondays, our brand new feature. We're doing this for the next 4 Mondays at least. And we're welcoming people from the Expats Portugal community. Jerry and Astrid are with us from that said organisation. So do let us know who you are and where you are. And I think I'm going to bring them on straight away. So ladies first, Astrid is here and Jerry as well. Good morning to you both. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and I intend to take it fairly easy, keep it quite laid back this morning. I was saying to Jerry earlier on, I need another weekend to recover from the weekend I've just had, feeling a little bit fragile, and not for the reasons you think. We did have a Good Morning Portugal wine club tasting, but it wasn't in any way hedonistic or excessive. It was really nice, and it was good fun. I'm not sure what it is, just a lot of uncertainty in the air, I think, for everybody, and I think that can be a little bit tiring. So we'll be very gentle and easy on you, and a very nice, calm one, warm welcome to the whole Expats Portugal community into the fold of Good Morning Portugal. So maybe, I don't know, Astrid, could you tell us about Expats Portugal? For those who don't know, where have you been? If you don't know, but if you don't know a lot about Expats Portugal, perhaps Astrid, you could tell us a little bit about your organisation.
Certainly. Expats Portugal is a website that's been live, I guess, as a community-based forum since 2005. We really aim to be information sharing site and an information resource for people who are either living here in Portugal already or planning to move here. The forum would have around 6,300 members since its inception in 2005, but recently seeing a really, really strong growth. Even over the weekend, I think we had 20-30 people signing up alone. So it's definitely a very exciting time for the site. So we obviously wanted to come and speak with you because we know that your listeners would probably benefit from being part of our site as well, and vice versa. And we just saw a really good synergy there. So we're very excited to be partnering with you for some of these forthcoming events.
Yeah, likewise. Oh, we should mention this point. We are also talking. You've helped me extend the work we do here, and we'll be talking with you to Peter van Noonen or Noonen, I'm not quite sure. I'll find out on Thursday, obviously. And he's a buyer's advocate from Enjoy Portugal, and he'll be detailing the buying process, which is obviously a really big part of a very big area of interest for people who are interested in buying property in Portugal. So really looking forward to talking to Peter Thursday evening. That'll be from 8 o'clock in association with you guys.
If anybody's keen to come on board, it's free. It's a webinar. It's streaming. They just need to go to the What's On section on the website and just register there. They're saying yes, they'll attend. We're limiting it to 50 tickets. So they just need to go and put their details in, and then we can email them a code to get part of that meeting. But Peter's great. He's got over 20 years experience. He's there to have questions asked, and he's a buyer's agent, so he works for the buyer. So not sort of biased towards any particular real estate agent, and knows all the ins and outs of the process of and also renting too. He's well aware of the renting process here. So anybody who's interested in educating themselves about, what's the first step to buying property in Portugal, it's definitely a free webinar to be involved with.
Yeah, and what I'm excited about is I think he has a comprehensive approach, because most of us know a little bit about the process, don't we? But not many people know a lot about the whole process, and I think that's what Peter can bring. Good morning to you, Jerry. We haven't heard from you yet this morning.
No, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Just celebrated another birthday, so also feeling a little bit tired and weird and worried, but what can you do? I'm 42 now.
I want to know what your secret is.
Yes, so do I. Just to add to what Astrid has said there, one of the things we're seeing on our site at the moment is so much interest from people, from UK citizens, but also from US citizens who are considering to move here. And for the UK citizens, obviously things are not so easy at the moment with lockdown. It's not a case of just popping over for the weekend and scouting out an area. And even more so, that's a big issue for Americans who want to come over here and check things out. So to have access to someone like Peter, I think could be extremely valuable to these people. And we try to help them where we can in terms of helping them to identify the right areas for their needs. And then I think it's so useful to have someone who will work in their interests. And so that's something we want to work hard on in the coming months.
Fantastic, excellent. So an all-round comprehensive service there. I know you guys are really focused on the two key words for me are community and knowledge, aren't they? That's what you're doing there. You know,
yes.
The warmth of the community and the sort of detailed experience and knowledge coming from those people to, it's basically, you know, a helping hand for the expats and explorers that we talk about here on Good Morning Portugal, and how to come here to Portugal. We're all in Portugal, by the way, and enjoy life with the least possible stress, hopefully. But, you know, it's a big deal, isn't it? I mean, you know, not only moving country, but buying a house as well. So between the three of us, we are here to help you. And that extends, I'm extending an invitation on behalf of both our communities as well. Sounds like some sort of, the two embassies meeting, doesn't it? A very and I'll extend a welcome from both our communities. Okay, good morning all. Welcome this morning from the sunny Algarve from Claire and Steve. Look who's here as well. Valerie of Spencer Becks. Hola, I'm back, she says. Wayne Barker, good morning from a sunny UK at last. I think it's sunny at last rather than back in the UK at last. I know Wayne's on his way here as well. Sunny day in Villa de Rey. I don't think we need to look at the official weather. We're getting it from all our community members here. Welcome, Expats Portugal. Have a great week, everyone. Look at this. Good morning from a sizzling Alvaiazara. I know it definitely sizzles there, doesn't it?
It's sizzling, yes. I think obviously I live near Alvaiazara, where I think we're forecast to hit 35 degrees today. So
wow. So if you like that kind of thing, that's worth putting on your list as well. And very close to the beautiful city of Tomar as well. Town city. That's an interesting thing in Portugal, isn't it? What constitutes a town and a city? But whatever you call it, Tomar is a beautiful place not far from Alvaiazara. Over there in Fundão, Castelo Branco district. Good morning from Joseph Marsh. Good morning to you, Joseph, and the whole Marsh family. Hola, bon dia from Panela. I know that's not too far from you as well. Jerry to Eloise. Eloise, the lady who leads our wine tasting sessions every fortnight. Dan Brazier, good morning. I think that'll be from the UK. Peter Wilton Davis, it's going to be a hot one in Castanheira de Pera, where Peter is. He's the unofficial ambassador of the said village there. I'm off to Coimbra this morning, where it's always hotter, indeed. And a very happy birthday to my lovely wife, Helen Gray. Yes, parabéns to you, Helen. So yes, birthday greetings to you, Jerry. Belated birthday greetings to you.
Thank you.
And to Helen Gray. It sounds like off to Coimbra for a lovely lunch today as well. So yeah, we should have a little look at your site, I think, as well. But maybe before we go there, I've got a something from the Portuguese news to share, because I don't know what you guys think of this, but the Portuguese population increased for the first time in 10 years thanks to immigration. Did you see this story? You're aware of that? Okay, let me bring it on the screen so everyone else can see it as well. It's interesting to see here that the population increased last year compared to 2018 thanks to immigration, with an effective growth of 0.19%. Not massive, but it's kind of turning a corner, isn't it? The first time in 10 years, according to the National Statistics Institute, the INE. The population growth in 2019 was due to the increase in the migratory balance, difference between people we know what that is, difference between people leaving and coming to Portugal, from 11,570 to 44,000. 506, an increase of 0.43% since the natural balance difference between live births and deaths remain negative. And there's a net population decrease always in Portugal in recent years, falling 0.25%, which meant 25,214 fewer people. So Interesting to see what the average age changes as well. We'll get to that. According to the resident population estimates released on the 15th of June, the population has grown even older in the space of 10 years, with half of residents over 45.5 years old, 4.3 years more than in 2009. In 2019, INE estimates that over 10 million people lived in Portugal, plus 19,292, the first time the balance has been positive since 2009. In 2019, the average age at which women had children increased to 31.4 years, 1.7 years more than in 2009. So some interesting changes there. You could say made possible by immigration influx and that change in age. Do you think that's down to us immigrants as well?
Possibly.
Well, it's certainly that reflects on what we're seeing on our site with so much new members coming in who've just recently relocated or who are in the process of doing so. So I would say yes, definitely.
Yeah, so all that elder wisdom, that's how I like to look at it. We have an influx of elder wisdom coming to the country. But of course, this is, aging populations is a general demographic all over the world. One other interesting thing to note from the lovely region that is Alentejo in Portugal, in 2019, there were 206.1 elderly people for every 100 young person. And in the centre, with 203.6 elderly people for every 100 young people. And this is very interesting, I think, because it shows us that, out beyond the Algarve and beyond Lisbon and beyond Porto, there are aging populations in these regions. And I think there is some understanding as well from the government that, they're beginning to address this, that they want younger people to head towards the interior and away from the seaboard. And that even in this with the golden visa, the investment of properties of £350,000 in the interior gives you a golden visa opportunity. And I think that's some sort of recognition of how the life balance, the demographics could usefully be addressed in the countryside. Do you see this on your forums in interest from people as well? Is it moving away from the traditional areas of the Algarve, Porto and Lisbon?
I think the majority of people, and also having a look at the survey results that we've done that we spoke about last week, is there are still a lot of people interested in going to those places that they've heard other people speaking about. So there's still huge interest in, Porto, Lisbon, the Algarve area seems to be, for those who aren't here yet, they're the places they want to explore first. But I know from my personal experience, when we came, I kind of wanted to see those typical areas, but we ended up buying our country home somewhere off the beaten track and not somewhere that anyone had mentioned to. And even now, I'm not too sure, how many people actually know that area out towards Maval, Casteldavid, but it's out in the slice of heaven. We absolutely love it. So I think that there, perhaps when people come here and they hear about more options, maybe they'll broaden where they're looking, but it definitely seems at the moment that there's the typical areas that people will come and explore as their first knowledge, only because they're such well-known places for the expat community.
For sure. And a place I haven't heard of there, Espiche. Bon dia from Espiche from Karen Thomason. Good morning to you, Karen. Great to have you here. Jerry, did you want to add anything to that?
No, except that I agree with Astrid. I think it's very much about the places that people have heard about, but I think there's so much more to Portugal beyond those areas. And for people looking for a quiet lifestyle, rural Portugal is magical. And I think that it's one of the things that we try to point out on our site, but also I think it's very much about finding out what people want, what their needs are, what their pastimes are, whether they need schools, and so on. And then we can narrow down which are the best regions, at least by region, for them to look at and consider.
All right, you mentioned the site there. We'll go there next. Bon dia from Bairro Senhora da Luz. I'm thinking that's probably down in the south, but lovely to have new and extra people here in the room this morning. Do keep telling us who you are and where you're from. It's absolutely fantastic to hear from you, and treat this as your home, if you will. So, yeah, let's go and look at the site now, Joe, that you mentioned there, expatsportugal.com. This, of course, is the forum, and the what we were talking about there is the beyond Porto, Lisboa, and the Algarve. How do you find out about what lies beyond those places? And many magical and wonderful places do lie beyond those places in the interior of Portugal, where you can enjoy all the wonders of Portuguese life. And a good way to find out is in your forum here. Tell me more about your forum,
Jerry.
Yes. Okay. Well, what you're looking at there are the main forum titles, and if you drill down into any of those, you can see the exchanges that we have and our members have with other people in terms of the questions they're asking. Very often it's about recommendations. It could be as simple as who can recommend a plumber in a certain area, or it could be a lot more detailed than that in terms of someone trying to decide which area they want to look at, or they need help with their tax filing, or whatever it might be. Dog imports, I've just seen there, is always quite a topical one. So then, if you wouldn't mind, please, Carl, if you take, let's look at the simple one there. Help buying a refrigerator. There's this. Did you see that?
I did, yeah.
It's something as simple as that. If you could open that, please.
Certainly. I see you're not afraid of a bit of controversy. Why Spain hates UK was one I noticed as well. I'll go back to
Yes, we'll let Astrid discuss that one in a moment. But if you open this one first, I just want to show how, as simple.
I have clicked on it, and
clicked on it.
Yeah, you might have extra traffic this morning.
We must have. But okay, well, look, simply there's a new member, Peggy L, looking to buy an American-style refrigerator. She was not sure of the brands and where to go because she's new to the country, and she got 2 replies pointing her directly at the companies that the stores she should consider, and as simple as that.
Yeah,
and that sort of thing can be extremely useful to people. Now I'll let Astrid talk a little bit about the Spanish one.
Astrid.
It was a post that came through from a member, and when new members come on board, we do have a pre-approval process just for the first 3 posts to make sure that it's not spamming or anything like that. We kind of moderate it. Once you've done 3 posts and we know that you're safe, then anything else goes through. Anyway, so this post came through from a member, and I'm like, Jerry, should we be approving this? Because could it be a little bit controversial, or could it be okay? But it's just it's a parody from a singer. I don't know if you can.
Sure, maybe. Yeah. I was wondering if I should open it or not. But
it's a funny video.
Yeah,
so
good.
Yeah, it was not something that was terribly out of this world. No, but there was a lot of. It's a live singer. It's a performance. It's I think it must be on YouTube or something or other. But we thought it was worthwhile putting up and seeing what kind of interaction we got with it. But everyone's being shy. No one's saying anything on that post I can see. But there's people doing it. So yeah,
the floodgates may open at another point. But you make a really good point there, Astrid. One of the problems I think for straight up social media is that how beastly it can become. And also, you can't find anything anymore once it's drifted past you. And, like look back a day or 2 later, you can't find anything. And the wonderful thing about a forum, of course, is it's much more structured on the one hand, and you can find what you're looking for. And it's still there when you go back to look for it. And you make mention there of your moderation process. So you've got to pass a kind of a test first to avoid spamming and to make sure you're not just going on there to let off steam on other people. And Absolutely. It's the same much safer space than traditional ways of, or the more recent way, I suppose, of finding out information about anything, which is just to ask a question on on social media somewhere, and then the gates of hell can open upon you, can't they? And you don't get your question answered, and you just end up needing counselling afterwards. But this is a much safer place, I think, to ask and have questions answered.
You have got that search functionality that you can see just where there's over 170,000 posts from the years. So if you typed in the topic or something that you were looking at, you're bound to find some information or some thread from the archives as well. So that's a pretty cool feature as well. And you can add to those old threads too. And if you add to the old threads, it just comes straight to the front of the forum again. So that topic becomes active, and there's a wealth of information there from many, many years. So it's easy to find if you've got a topic that you want to look up. Perhaps the answer's already there in the forum.
Excellent. And so if we move on from there, I don't know if you want to say any more about your forum.
Well, I guess I would like to just add a little bit that, as you can see, we're trying to provide a good mix between factual information, introductions, and also have a little bit of fun. It's extremely rare that we have anything that is contentious. I think I've banned maybe 2 posts in the time that Astrid and I have been running the site. And that was some people from China or something coming in and trying to sell something. But it's a good, positive, friendly community. And we try to create a good mix and match. One of the areas that we've been working on in terms of the fun area is trying to identify why people like to live in Portugal. And that has been quite interesting. And if you scroll down a little bit, you can probably see it. I think it's on the sticky. Could you do that, please, Carl?
Sure, certainly, yeah.
It's wonderful having a secretary. There you go. The second one down there, why I like living in Portugal. And we'd love to get some more information on that from people. We've heard tales about people like the fact that they can have their fresh bread delivered to their doorstep daily, that they can still see people working with horse and carts out in the countryside, and that kind of thing, the good value that people get and the good service that people get. And we'd really like to add to that. As we think that's very good information, especially for people who are considering Portugal as their future home.
Excellent, wonderful. Okay, so that's the forum there. expatsportugal.com/community is where you need to go and sign up, obviously. And I won't look at it now, but I've got a new notification from my efforts there. We do have a new Good Morning Portugal open discussion. So I take a little segment from the show and put that in there for discussion as well. So I want to invite all my Good Morning Portugal live stream community to come and carry on the conversation on the Expats Portugal forum as well. Sorry, go on, Astrid.
Seeing some familiar names here of people who have signed up over the weekend. I recognise Eloise's name, and there's a couple of others. So I do think your audience is coming over. So welcome.
Yes.
Fantastic. Some more a bit of a geography lesson here. So Bairro Senhora da Luz. I might have these confused here, but it's between Caldas and Óbidos over there in Sintra. Good morning. Morning, friends of Good Morning Portugal from Druba there in Sintra. He's got an amazing garden. Oh, thanks, by the way, to Anton, whose produce you can see in the back screen there, and the rather large garlic that sits next to Jerry on the bottom row. Karen Thomason, Especies near Praia da Luz in the Algarve. Thank you for that. This is a massive message, and they often are from Peter. A few years ago, I created this Google map so people can find suppliers and tradesmen in our area. Stick that in the forum as well, if you will, Peter. That looks like really useful information.
Yes, please, Peter.
I think there are a lot of people like Peter who are really proud of where they live and want to share about it, the benefits of living there, and also the sort of infrastructural side of things. Lena, bon dia from Alcantarilla. Nils Silvish, good morning to you, Lena. Who was a guest previously, prolific writer and journalist. I have just joined the forum. I'm trying to promote my home catering. Good for you, Owen, as well. I'm sure you'll get a good reception there. So if we look at another part of the site now, we can go to the classifieds, buy, swap, and sell, right? So this is a fairly new part of what you do.
Yes, this was something when we took on the site from the previous owners. This was something the membership were asking us to do. In the past, I think people would simply post up something if they had something for sale or they wanted something. So we tried to sort of take that up a step and develop it in a separate area of the site. Now, unfortunately, we launched it just before lockdown, so there's been very little activity because obviously people couldn't travel and so on, and it's now starting to pick up. We're keen to promote this very heavily with our members. It's free for anyone who joins as a premium member. Which is €20 a year, and we think for the sake of €20 a year to have full and free access to something like this, to be able to post up as often as you would like to, is very good value. And so we need to push it hard now as lockdown is easing and people can get out and so on. We want to see this become much more active.
Excellent. And another sort of differentiator for you here, of course, is that if you go on to OLX, OLX, it's in Portuguese, isn't it? Which I know we should be learning. We should definitely be learning Portuguese, but this is a little bit easier, isn't it? Because it is the way of selling things and buying things without the added drama of needing to converse with vendors in Portuguese.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, and I'm guessing that's why the membership asked us for this. There was such a strong request to us to do this.
Yeah, okay, and you can buy a house here. I've taken the liberty of listing my project at the moment here. So look, you can do property. I see you've got a property in Mortágua as well. So that's as close as we're going to get to a casa de dia today. But it was so easy. Yeah, I just listed the project I'm working on at the moment in your classifieds. Astrid, did you want to add anything to that?
I just wanted to make sure that although you need to be a premium member to list, anybody who comes to the site can actually contact the vendor.
Yes.
So it's a privilege, it's a member's privilege or member's benefit to be able to list there. But yeah, the whole audience that comes to visit the site can actually get on there and purchase something if they want to. But we would really like to see this sort of growing, and I'm happy to push really interesting products or listings through our Facebook community. We've got over 1,000 people there as well, and also through our newsletter that we do as well. So to help people sell stuff and make their investment back, I guess, with the with €20 joining fee.
Yeah. And to ask for stuff also. I see somebody's posted up that they're looking for some concrete slabs, and that could be, a nice exchange for somebody. Maybe money won't be involved. I don't know, but to be as easy as that.
Excellent. And another development I know you've got in the pipeline is events. Obviously, would have been knocked back by the pandemic. But people want to get out now, and this is a way to not only just talk to people online, but create your own events and even meetups, right? So tell us more about that.
Again, something I think that was requested by our older members, to be able to post up events, share information on local events. They can be festas, they can be charitable events, they can be an organization getting together, anything in the spirit of our community. I think one of the things we all find here is there's an awful lot going on, but you don't always hear about it until after the event for some reason. And so what we want people to do, excuse me one second, what we want people to do is go in and post up information about their local events so that we can all know about them, we can all look and see what's on in our area, and hopefully we can go off and enjoy a festa or two as lockdown eases.
Fantastic. It's a busy Monday morning there, Jerry. Is this
Yes.
Portugal community members getting in touch?
Probably, yes.
Fantastic. Astrid, you mentioned you were doing a survey recently. What's the purpose of that?
We put out 2 surveys, one for people who are already living here in Portugal and happy to share where they live, and another survey for people who are wanting to move to Portugal and want to pinpoint that exact area where they want to be. So basically the two surveys are going to be cross-referenced, and we're putting it into a presentation to the ultimate guide of where to live in Portugal based on our community's opinion. We've had about 250 responses so far, so we're pretty excited to be able to put together quite a strong knowledge-based, map or brochure that will be available to our premium members. They can just go in and download it from the site, but really sort of cross-reference. So if Jane Smith is looking for somewhere which is close to the beach and has access to international schools, well, then this is the area for them. If Tom wants to find a off-the-grid living that, happy to be within a very strong Portuguese community, then this is the place for them to be. So the idea is that the guide will continuously evolve. We were really keen to keep the survey live, but update the brochure or the booklet that we're publishing about it, and just be that information source, because we do find that to be a very typical question on the forum as well, is that, we're not too sure exactly where to live. We've heard of this place, but, can someone else recommend? And it can almost become a map or a guide for people to come and narrow down based on what our community has shared with us about their personal experience too.
Fantastic. Okay. I noticed that everyone's been quite polite and formal so far, which is good. I mean, that's a nice thing. But I think for our next few weeks, as we have these Meet-up Mondays, it's fine to have a bit of cross-talk and questions from people as well, and bigging up where you come from. Because I know once those floodgates open, you can't stop people talking about the beauty and benefits of where they live. So feel free to do that, folks. I'm sure as these Mondays unfold in front of our eyes with our two communities coming together, I think people will feel more comfortable singing the praises of where they live, singing the praises of Portugal more generally, because that's an easy one, isn't it? I think we take it for granted, those of us who live here, but once you get started talking about the sort of contrast of where you might have come from and what you love so much about Portugal now, that's a really nice part of the conversation here. So do feel free to post that up, if not this morning, when we do this again on subsequent Mondays. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we conclude for this morning's live stream, Jerry or Astrid?
I'm just the notifications coming through. I think there must be quite a few people from your audience signing up, because it keeps going deep around here.
Yes, mine too. Yes.
So everybody will get a little welcome message from us, and great to have you on board. Come on, get involved. It's an opportunity to be involved with Good Morning Portugal beyond what you're doing as well, and being able to bring it into something that's available 24/7. So it'll be really good to see people come on board and say hello, but I can see all the pings coming in the background. So welcome, everybody.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'll just have a quick look at the weather for the week ahead, because we like to do this on a Monday. Feel free to chip in, anyone and everyone who's tuned in this morning. Lisbon, currently 21 degrees, looking at a fairly warm week. Not as warm as last week, but a 32 high there possibly today. And the only cloudy day is looking like Friday. Porto, a little bit more cloudy in the coming week, but a nice high temperature today and cooling off as the week goes by. Coimbra, a little bit foggy midweek is the forecast. 32 degrees there for you, Peter, for your luncheon date in Coimbra today, 32-degree high. Faro, 29-degree high today, currently 24. So I think I'm scanning through, I'm getting a feeling that generally, as I look at my digital seaweed, that the temperatures are going to cool off a little bit. But having said that, and there's a little bit of cloud, but there's no rain in sight. and very, very comfortable temperatures. I think we're returning to higher temperatures when next weekend comes and the subsequent week. So you could have a nice mild, well, not mild, I mean warm by most of our standards, but a nice warm week, but not as scorching as it was over the weekend, except for Evora the next couple of days. 38-degree high there forecast, 38 tomorrow and 35 on Wednesday. But just looking more generally, nice, a really nice set of temperatures for all of Portugal. Let's go to the islands as well, the autonomous regions in the Azores, currently 19 with a high to look forward to of 22. Madeira, 14 currently, and a high to look forward to of 19 today. And no rain in a little bit of rain, forecast for tomorrow in the Azores, which is only to be expected from time to time, but a really nice looking week ahead for both the Azores and Madeira as well, and just more generally across all of Portugal. So Astrid, Jerry, and sorry, I'll come back to you in just a moment, but 35 degrees, UK 35 degrees coming up from Portugal. Thank you. It's our pleasure to send that good weather to you, Dave.
No. We'd like to keep it here, thank you.
Today's Portuguese with Paolo. Yes, the word is enfardar, which means to bale as in hay, not bale as in not turn up. I'm guessing, I don't know, you could be. Paolo spent Friday afternoon with his father, João, baling the dry grass at the bottom of the village. It also means to bundle or pack together. So the verb enfardar for you today, your bit of vocabulary. How are you getting on, Jerry and Astrid, with your grasp of Portuguese?
I'm struggling. I have to admit, I am struggling. But I also find that I don't need to use it very much, which I know is not a good thing to say. But in this area of central Portugal, once people see that I'm not Portuguese, they want to speak English. They want to practice their English, which of course doesn't help me. But I confess I'm struggling. I've had 3 goes now at different lessons and still not got very far.
Okay, and a relief for you, I guess, Jerry, when they do that, when people want to practice their English. Yeah, okay.
Well, a relief and a slight frustration also, because I wonder, how do you know I'm not Portuguese? I haven't said anything. They just know.
Answer in the comments, everybody, about Jerry might not be Portuguese. Astrid, how's yours? You've got no excuse, right?
Pardon?
You've got no excuse.
I have no excuse because my husband is Portuguese and my kids go to Portuguese school. My Portuguese is really good after a couple of glasses of wine, but once it hasn't the effect of the wine's off, then I struggle.
That's a really good tip. Thank you.
So that's where I've been going wrong, obviously.
Yeah. So I won't put you on the spot now because that would reveal that you've been having a cheeky vino tinto this morning. If your Portuguese is especially good right now. She's shaking her head. No, certainly not.
Over the weekend it was okay, but no, obviously I feel a little bit more relaxed and a bit more confident to try my Portuguese after a couple of glasses of wine. But I do take lessons and I do twice a week online with a really lovely Portuguese teacher. And the aim is that by Christmas time, I'll be able to have a conversation without the wine.
Brilliant. What an excellent target that is. And no harm in the meantime, having a cheeky tipple just to help unleash all that vocabulary and conjugation of those tricky Portuguese verbs. Good morning, Portugal. I love it. That's the way to do it, isn't it, Breda? Feel free to do your sort of Robin Williams, good morning, Portugal, anybody in there with loads of exclamation marks and capital letters. Great to hear from all these new names this morning and locations. Good morning, Portugal, there from Breda, from Praia da Luz. And Astrid learned Portuguese the same way as I did with Professor Paolo. Yes, with the alcoholic catalyst. We could call it that. So perhaps we should call it a day there for now. You'll be back on Meet-up Mondays. And of course, on Thursday, we'll be talking to Peter van Noonen. I will ask him how to pronounce that correctly, obviously, who is a buyer's advocate working on your side to help you in the Portuguese property process, all aspects of that. Last word to you, Astrid and Jerry.
I think for me, seeing still that there's all these pop-ups coming with new people signing up. If you are joining the forum from the Good Morning Portugal program, mention that, because we'd love to sort of connect with you, and it'd be good to know where the audience is coming from. Mention that you've been here and Carl's show, and you've decided to sign up because of that. So it'd be really nice to hear that.
And from you, Jerry?
From me, yes, all that Astrid said, and also as we go forward with these Monday morning sessions, it would be quite nice to bring on some of our own members and have them join in this conversation on the Monday morning, and that's something we plan to do as we go forward. But if there are any members listening who would like to join in, please do let Astrid or myself know.
And it's very easy, isn't it? I know people get a little bit freaked out with technology, but it's so easy. I send you a link and then you're on the screen, basically, right?
Yes, simple, very simple.
Okay, cool. Thanks to everybody. We'll be back tomorrow, and we will be featuring a Casa del Dia. We are going to be looking at the blog whythealgarve.com. This is somebody who does want to live in the Algarve, but I think their head's been turned a little bit by Castelo Branco, and this happens. So we'll be looking at whythealgarve.com, and it's Justus, who is in the States, I believe, who is writing a blog as his research for where he wants to live in Portugal and to find out more, which I think is a fantastic approach. So we'll look at more at that blog and that property in Castelo Branco tomorrow. And on Wednesday, we'll be joined by the Owlnet Virtual Village, which is something of an alternative to, dare I say it whilst we're here on Facebook, but something of an alternative to community-based social media. So that's how the week is shaping up for us here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream, YouTube channel and podcast. Do subscribe to the podcast on all major podcasting platforms, and we will be back tomorrow. So I should say te logo, até amanhã, and muito obrigado to Astrid, Jerry, and a todos, to everybody who's tuned in from the Good Morning Portugal community and the Expats Portugal community too. Take care and bye for now.
Thank you.